What if the most dangerous person in episode 2 isn't an enemy? What if it's someone Kanan already trusts? Because after watching the season 5 episode 2 trailer frame by frame, one thing becomes impossible to ignore. Every conversation feels like a warning. Every stare feels loaded. And every character seems to be hiding something that could trigger the next major war. But here's the scary part. The trailer isn't showing us what happens. It's showing us the consequences before the decision is even made. And if we're reading these clues correctly, episode 2 could contain the moment that permanently pushes Kanan closer to becoming the ruthless kingpin we first met years later in power. Let's break it all down. The trailer immediately creates a feeling of paranoia. Nobody looks comfortable. Nobody looks safe. And that's important because Raising Kanan has always been at its best when trust becomes the most valuable currency in the room. The first clue appears during a tense exchange that feels much bigger than the words being spoken. Notice how Kanan isn't reacting like a son anymore. He's reacting like a businessman evaluating risk. That shift may seem small, but it could be the biggest clue in the entire trailer. For years, we've watched Kanan struggle between family loyalty and personal ambition. Now, those two paths appear to be colliding head-on. And when that happens in this universe, somebody usually ends up in a body bag. But let's go deeper. Because episode 2 seems obsessed with one theme. Consequences. Every shot feels connected to a decision somebody already regrets. Rack looks like she's carrying the weight of multiple problems at once. Her empire may still be standing, but cracks are forming everywhere. The trailer repeatedly places characters in isolated positions. Separate conversations. Separate meetings. Separate agendas. That's usually a visual signal that alliances are breaking apart. And if alliances are collapsing, Kanan suddenly finds himself in the perfect position to rise. Think about it. When powerful people start turning against each other, ambitious people thrive. And Kanan has never been more ambitious. Now here's where things get really interesting. There's a suspicious confrontation shown briefly in the trailer. It's quick. Almost too quick. The kind of scene producers want viewers to overlook. But why hide it? Because that confrontation may be the domino that knocks everything else down. One theory is that someone discovers information they were never supposed to learn. Another possibility? A betrayal that has been building for several episodes finally explodes into the open. And if that happens, every relationship on the board changes overnight. Pause for a second. Is it just me? Or does this show treat family dinners like horror movies? Every time people gather in one place, disaster follows. And episode 2 doesn't look any different. Now let's talk about revenge. Because revenge is practically the oxygen of this series. The trailer suggests multiple characters are operating from a place of emotional pain rather than strategic thinking. That's dangerous. Very dangerous. When characters stop asking what's smart and start asking how do I hurt them back, chaos follows. And chaos creates opportunities. That's where Kanan enters the picture. The trailer subtly hints that he's becoming better at reading weakness. Not just reacting to events. Manipulating them. That's a massive difference. Because the future version of Kanan wasn't simply violent. He was patient, calculating, and terrifyingly good at exploiting people's emotions. Episode may 2nd be showing us the early stages of that transformation. But there's another hidden clue most viewers might miss. Watch the expressions. Not the dialogue. The expressions. Several characters appear nervous before anything even happens. That's often a sign they already know danger is coming. Which raises an important question. What information is being hidden from Kanan? Or maybe the bigger question is, what information is Kanan hiding from everyone else? Because the trailer repeatedly frames him as someone standing between multiple worlds. The family world, the street world, and the future empire he's slowly building. Eventually he'll have to choose. And I think episode 2 begins forcing that choice. Now let's explore the biggest theory. What if the trailer is deliberately misleading us? Raising Kanan loves misdirection. The scenes that look explosive often distract viewers from the real threat. So while everyone focuses on the obvious conflict, a quieter betrayal could be developing in the background. Imagine this scenario. A trusted ally switches sides. Not because they're greedy, Not because they're scared, but because they genuinely believe Kanan is becoming too dangerous. That would create the kind of emotional betrayal this series thrives on. And it would accelerate Kanan's transformation faster than any rival could. Because enemies teach caution. Betrayal teaches cruelty. And cruelty is exactly what the future Kanan becomes known for. Which brings us to the ending shots of the trailer. They're filled with urgency. Nobody looks like they're preparing for peace. They look like they're preparing for impact. That's why I believe episode 2 isn't simply setting up another conflict. It's setting up a chain reaction. One decision, one betrayal, one act of revenge, and suddenly every player is forced into a new position. The result? A completely different power structure by the end of the episode. And that's what makes this trailer so fascinating. It's not asking whether Kanan will change. That question was answered long ago. The real mystery is identifying the exact moment he crosses another line he can never come back from. Because every season moves him closer to the man we met in power. A man shaped by betrayal, forged by loss, driven by revenge, and willing to do whatever it takes to stay on top. The trailer suggests that moment may be closer than ever. But what do you think? Who is hiding the biggest secret in episode 2? Which character is most likely to betray someone they love? And could this finally be the episode that pushes Kanan toward his darkest transformation yet? Drop your theories below, because if this trailer is telling the truth or hiding it, we're about to witness a decision that changes everything.